Today I want to talk about authenticating your handbags yourself instead of only relying on a third-party authentication. For instance, maybe you buy a handbag on TikTok, you buy a handbag on eBay, buy a handbag maybe on whatnot, and it didn't come with a certification of authenticity that you did yourself. And you've got to start doing this, especially if you're a consumer of luxury. Even if you're a consumer of luxury and you're buying it from the boutique, make sure you authenticate it before that return policy. If it's all sales final, you need to do it immediately. The reason why I say this is because of my own experience. About a year ago, I purchased a bag on Poshmark, and it went through Poshmark authentication. It was in a live show from a seller that I trusted at the time. I had purchased many things from this young lady, and it was about a $4,500 bag, and that's what I paid for it, $4,500 plus tax. And I kept it in my collection. I am a purse collector, a reseller, a rehabber, an authenticator myself. And this particular bag I'd never had before myself. I had never seen it. I had never, touched it before. I kind of had, my own kind of premonitions about it, but I was trusting Poshmark and Entrupy. And so this particular situation, I purchased it, got it, took about 2 weeks to get to me. I opened it live on, I believe, a Posh show at the time. I was selling live on Poshmark as well. And I opened it up. Everybody that, was in the show kind of saw me buy it. There was people that were there also that saw me buy it live. So it was kind of a community purchase. And I bought this item. It went through Poshmark. Everybody had seen me buy it. I say everybody. There's probably about 50 or 100 people in this room that were all buying at a dollar auction on Poshmark. And so I am here. She's telling us about the bag and how it's a crocodile, and it's a crocodile Lady Dior bag. And I was excited. I got it. Finally, I bought it for my birthday. It was about this time 2 years ago. And it was right before my birthday. I bought this bag for my birthday of working so hard and collecting and going live and working my business. I got it. I saw it. I loved it. I didn't know much about this particular bag. It was rare. That's what it was told to me. It was very rare. There wasn't a lot of them for sale. Come to find out, there were more listed, and it didn't take me for about 2 years of people continually harping on me and telling me that this bag was not real because I was wearing it. I was showing it off. I have several reels of me showing the bag off because I was so proud of the bag. It was a beautiful gold hardware, golden crocodile, alligator, Lady Dior bag, and one that would be worth anywhere between $8,000 and probably $15,000 if it had been real. But as it turns out, it was not real. And I finally did enough research on this particular bag. And where I messed up at was I did not start authenticating it immediately when I got it. Folks, these authentication certificates that you get in all these items and all these shows on live shows, if you read the fine print, it says specifically that none of these items that are authenticated, the authentications are not transferable. So when someone sells a bag with a COA, it is not valid immediately once you get it. So unless you're the original holder of the COA, and within a certain time period, then that COA is invalid. And you will have to gain another COA at another time when you decide that you want to sell it. Perhaps technology's changed, perhaps the bags changed, perhaps they changed their decision on the bag. All of those are timed, zoned, and timed specific kind of regulations on all these COAs. They're not transferable. They are not responsible if they authenticate a bag that is not authentic. There are a few companies that do offer buybacks or a guarantee on the item that you authenticated up to a certain amount. But it's very important to discuss that these particular authentication companies are just someone's opinion. And someone's opinion that looks at items, compares items, and has a large database of other items to compare with the item that you might be showing them. And where people get into a situation like I did is that they don't immediately authenticate the bag with many authenticators. Sometimes bags require many authentication companies. I have had bags in my collection that have been denied by eBay authentication where they have said that the authentication is inconclusive. And there are other companies that have said inconclusive. And what they'll do normally is they will give you your money back and they will say, we can't say whether this is real or whether or not this is a fake. Because there may be items that on it back look really, really genuine and really, really good. And then there are other suspicious items on the bag. Or maybe somebody replaced a strap. Maybe they replaced a button. Maybe they repainted something. And so this is where we get into a situation where it's really hard to authenticate a bag, especially one that's 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. And over that 50-year time period, somebody's loved it, curated, customized it, and someone doesn't know everything there is to know about this particular item. And all we can do is compare with other items on the market and other like framed and like timed items. Because with every brand, there's a certain niche, a certain color, certain qualities, certain textiles that they continually to use. And then there are other brands that are very hard to authenticate. Fendi can be very difficult to authenticate, in my opinion, because there are certain things that they do different on every single bag. And they work with a lot of rare textiles. Lots of things are not perfect every single time. It's very difficult to authenticate some things. And me as an authenticator here in Oklahoma, we all specialize in certain items. And it's very hard to be an authenticator of everything. And you can simply give them your best judgment whether or not you think that things are authentic. And so in my case, it was with a $40, $44, $42, $44, $4,500 bag that I thought that I was purchasing as an investment to have and to hold, to use, and possibly to get my money back or 3 times thrice it, because the bag was considerably expensive. And sometimes in these dollar auction shows, you can get a really good deal because maybe perhaps the seller doesn't know what they have. Maybe it's a really good common color, or maybe it's a really rare color, or maybe it's a bag that's in really great condition that it will, work its way up in value, especially if you restore it. A lot of vintage collectors don't really care whether it's in genuine 100% original condition. And so this is where we get into a situation where authentication can be kind of iffy. It's kind of a, I think it is, and I'm going to go ahead and take your money for this authentication. Now, authentications can cost $150 to $300 for an Hermes product. Maybe it's a really expensive, rare Hermes product. Or maybe it's a really rare Chanel. Those could be about $150, $200. Sometimes authentications can be low as $7, $8. It really kind of depends on the brand, how popular the brand is, how mass-produced the item is. For me, I like to authenticate items in person. So when a customer submits to me an item and they would like it to be authenticated, I give them a full write-up, I give them an appraisal, I tell them how to take care of it, how to keep it in its best condition, and I kind of try to, open up a window for when they're ready to have that bag maintained or worked on again. That's not everyone's kind of business model. Sometimes it's just they want to give you an opinion on the bag and they want to take your $25 and they want to send you on their way because they've got thousands of inquiries every day. If you can imagine, if you've got thousands of people out here sending pictures of bags and you're making $5 to $10 to $20 to $100 a pop, they're making way more money than someone that is touching it, feeling it, looking at it, guaranteeing it, kind of giving you an appraisal and evaluation of what the bag is worth and how to take care of it. Now, that's what I do. A lot more thorough. It takes a lot longer. You're looking at a week versus a couple of hours. It's a whole different situation. But if you're really serious about stuff and you found that right bag and you really want to make sure that it's authentic, these are the kind of things that can be held up in court. These are the kind of things that you can use to get your money back from a seller that is either on a platform that won't help you, or maybe a private seller. Maybe you met the person in person. Maybe you met them at a bank where there's a lot of cameras. It's very, very important to notate and to keep track of all of these items that you are buying and how you're acquiring them, maybe who you bought them from. I like to buy things from people that are going to have a paper trail, that are there, that are going to be there. Some of these sellers are fly by night. They're here for a week, here for a couple years, and then they just bloop, disappear off the planet. And that is what happened to me in this situation where this particular seller that sold me this bag had a giant blowout sale and then disappeared. And I still can't find her today. You look her up, can't find her. Her account's still active. Not that I'm interested in doing anything to this young lady, financially. But the problem is that is how, we create a situation for buyers where it's very scary and you don't want to buy things. And it's very important to buy things from people that, for one, you trust and that you know. And I don't trust many places. I don't trust a lot of sellers. I don't trust Poshmark. I think Poshmark, unfortunately, being in the inside and the outside of Poshmark as a buyer and a live seller, and someone that sent thousands of bags to have them authenticated by Poshmark. Poshmark is not perfect. There's a lot of issues with Poshmark's authentication. I think we can all agree on that. I have spent thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars with Poshmark. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with Whatnot, had the same issues. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on eBay, And I've had good situations and I've had bad situations. I've had to fight for my money back. I've also been ripped off and lost lots of money because I was shipped to someone and by someone that was a scammer. And then I can't even get hold of them. I can't do anything. I couldn't mail my stuff back because I couldn't ship their item to wherever country they were shipping it from. It's very, very risky, I feel like, sometimes to buy items that are pre-owned that are luxury, especially as a consumer and someone that has not done thousands of transactions like I have. I can ask for the right pictures to be able to see whether or not a bag is authentic 9 times out of 10. If I really, really, really want to push that dragon out of bed to go take pictures, I can normally get that done. But some people are out there taking, half pictures of other bags and then putting other bags in other listings. I've seen this done before where people have a bag that is not authentic, and what they do is they take pictures of real bags and put those pictures alongside the front and the back or the sides of the bag that they're actually selling. So when you actually get the bag is completely different, but it looks authentic when it's listed. These are some of the things that you need to be cautious of. And again, let me circle back to what I said in the very beginning of this particular video. When you buy luxury, new, pre-owned, anywhere, anytime, if you are a reseller, do not sell luxury items with someone else's name on it unless it can be authenticated. You know what I'm talking about. Those items that you can see behind the glass case that's at Salvation Army that says may or may not be real. We've all seen it on Reddit. Or buy at your own risk. Authenticate yourself. But it's still marked up high because they know that there's a market for it. Recently, there was a YouTuber that said that it was okay for Salvation Army to sell fake items. And that is far from the truth. The problem is no one wants to crack down on nonprofits that sell fake items. There's not a lot of people that are just in the industry of cracking down on people and giving them a hand swat for selling an item that can't be authenticated. It happens to me. It happens all over the place. I've had it happen to me where I specifically bought an item and waited to authenticate it when I got home. And once I figured out that it was not authentic, I called the place and said, look, I've just bought your item. I had it authenticated by a third party. I wasn't sure myself. And now I want my money back. And most of the time, they will give your money back without a big scene. But there are some places that they say, oh, seller final, I'm sorry. How do we know that you didn't switch that item with a real one? You see where I'm going? So sometimes I've authenticated items in the store, waited for an authentication, put it up at the desk, took all the pictures that I needed, and waited just to see if it was authentic and told them kind of what I was doing. Is I want to make sure that this is authentic before I buy it. So that's really good to do if you're buying on Craigslist or if you're buying on, Facebook Marketplace, or maybe you're buying an item, in a pawn shop. Now, most pawn shops will authenticate their items either with Entrupy or, authenticate first or real authentication. Now, I have reviews that are going to be coming up about every single authentication company I've ever used, which is going to include Entrupy, Legit Mark, Real Authentication, Legit App, and Authenticate First. So those are 5 different ones. I might throw another one in there. And the reason why I wanted to start out with this is because this is going to be a series that is going to talk about more about the bags that I've bought that have been fake, that I've got my money back, issues that I've had with authentication, whether it be eBay or whether it be Poshmark or whether it be any of these authentication companies. All right. I also want to include in there specifics. I have been on the inside and the outside of reselling and authentication and personal property appraisals. That's what I do in the great state of Oklahoma, is personal property appraisals, estate liquidation, high-end estate liquidation. And I started from the lowest of the low, the smallest of the smallest, and just kind of helping people because I wasn't making a lot of money and getting my name out there, to at a point now where I only really take luxury sales and I only take luxury items. And so when people call me, that is what I do. I'll give them a personal property appraisal here in the great state of Oklahoma, and with my evidence and all my personal expertise noted so that they can do comparables and look this stuff up themselves. I've had some of my appraisals be used in court for tax purposes. It is very, very important to have your things appraised and authenticated, especially if you're putting your hard-earned money behind each item. If this is something that has kind of resonated with you, if you're interested in authentication, if you're interested in pre-owned luxury, I think we all are interested in pre-owned luxury these days. And it's very important to make the decision whether or not you want to buy one that is not authenticatable versus is authenticatable. One you can get your money back out, and one you didn't pay as much for, but you won't be able to get your money back legally in the United States. Talk to you soon.